Chosen one, an angel saw your photo. Not even God expected what was coming. Before you continue reading, I want you to do something. Type 1010 if you agree that God sees beyond what others overlook. Now listen closely with your heart, because this message is unlike anything you've ever received before. If your spirit is tired, if your soul has been waiting for something to finally break through, if you've been holding on with nothing left but your tears and your faith, do not skip this. Don't let the enemy distract you, because what I'm about to share will settle your storm, restore your peace, and remind you of the truth you've forgotten in the chaos. This is a divine word tailored just for you. You were not supposed to be the one chosen. You were the quiet one, the underestimated one, the one who kept getting overlooked while others were celebrated. But while the world looked away, heaven looked closer. And when your name was whispered in the wind, an angel saw your photo. Not just your face, but the weight behind your eyes, the journey, the scars, the silent prayers. And in that moment, heaven stood still. What happened next shocked the heavens, because even God, in all his glory, paused. Not because he didn't know who you were, but because what was about to unfold through you was more powerful than anything planned before. Heaven had a schedule, but your endurance, your praise in the pain, your faith when it made no sense, rewrote that schedule. You didn't just follow the path, you moved the heart of God. There was a plan, but your tears added something extra. Your midnight worship added something eternal. Your silent sacrifices, the ones nobody applauded or even noticed, those became divine instructions for miracles that weren't even on the original blueprint. That's how powerful your obedience has been. Chosen one, the angel who saw your photo didn't just smile. That angel cried, because they saw someone still clinging to faith when everything was trying to rip it away. They saw the child of God who kept saying, "I trust you," even when nothing around them made sense. And heaven doesn't overlook moments like that. Heaven responds. Type Amen if you believe God responds to your secret faith. From that moment, the wind began to shift. A divine rearrangement started behind the veil. It wasn't visible yet, but your name was being spoken in places you hadn't even prayed to reach. Your story, your real story, not the one others think they know, began to unfold in places where only grace could carry it. Something began to bloom in the unseen, just for you. And all of this, not because you were loud, not because you were perfect, but because you were faithful in the waiting, because you kept walking when your legs trembled, because you chose to love when others hurt you, because you stayed kind when life wasn't kind back. Heaven rewards hearts like that. The angel who saw your photo didn't just carry a message. That angel carried an announcement, one that heaven is preparing to reveal, one that says, "You are not forgotten," one that says, "Everything is about to change," one that confirms what your heart has been hearing in secret all along. It wasn't just your imagination, it was divine confirmation. Chosen one, your presence on earth has been shaking the atmosphere more than you know. Every time you resisted the urge to give up, angels recorded it. Every time you blessed someone while being broken yourself, heaven multiplied it. That's why the shift feels close, because it is. That's why the attacks have increased, because the enemy knows you're on the edge of a miracle he can't stop. This moment, right now, is not ordinary. You've stepped into a divine intersection where heaven's timing meets your obedience. Something is aligning in your favor, something irreversible, something undeniable. And it's coming not because you demanded it, but because you surrendered everything and still trusted. You are the one the enemy hoped wouldn't wake up today, but you did. You are the one life tried to bury, but your roots were in God. You were never forgotten. You were hidden for a purpose, prepared in the quiet, sharpened in the shadows. And now, heaven is calling your name out loud. Type 222 to claim the miracle that is already being written in your name. You don't have to chase the blessing. The blessing is already on its way. It knows your name. It knows your tears. It knows where to find you. You don't need to beg for it. Just stay aligned. Stay faithful. Stay soft in heart and strong in spirit. The reward is greater than anything you've asked for. You may not have seen the full picture, but God has. And the beautiful truth is, what's coming was triggered not by your strength, but by your surrender. Not by your perfection, but by your praise. Not by your titles, but by your tears. That's what touched heaven. You didn't need to prove your worth. God had already seen it. You didn't need to compete with others. What's written for you has no competition. You didn't need to beg for acceptance. You were already accepted in the highest courts of heaven. When that angel saw your photo, they saw light wrapped in pain, strength formed through surrender, and purpose hidden under pressure. That's when heaven whispered, this one will carry my glory. Your path hasn't been easy. There were days you wondered if God still remembered your name. There were nights you laid in silence, hoping your tears would reach him. And every time they did. Not one moment went unseen. Not one sigh was ignored. Even in silence, you were surrounded by his presence. Even in stillness, the Spirit moved for you. Type 1111 if you trust in God's perfect timing. A little-known 7-second morning practice, once kept within CIA documents, is making its way back into public view, and people are already reporting fast financial shifts. It takes only seconds to complete, yet it stimulates a dormant wealth center in the brain that most people never access. Click the link in the description and comments now to check it out before it's gone. You've grown in ways you don't even realize. You've changed through the fire, and even when you didn't feel strong, you stood. That's strength. That's what caught heaven's attention, because most would have walked away. Most would have shut down, but not you. You kept showing up. You kept praying when your heart was breaking. You kept praising when nothing was changing. And that kind of faith moves mountains. When God says you are chosen, he's not referring to your resume or your record. He's speaking to your resilience. He's pointing to the moments nobody clapped for. He's highlighting the choices you made that no one knew about. Because those quiet yeses, those hidden sacrifices, they matter more than any spotlight ever will. They echo in eternity. You are chosen because your faith has a sound, and that sound rose above the noise. It pierced through darkness. It carried weight in the spirit. You didn't just survive your worship in the storm, made heaven respond. The angels saw your photo and said, this is the one the enemy tried to silence. This is the one who still prays, still loves, still hopes. Now, heaven is responding in waves. Not just in small drops of mercy, but in floods of favor. What's been held back is being released. What's been stuck is being loosened. You may not feel it yet, but it's happening. Slowly, steadily, and then suddenly. You are stepping into a time where what was hard to carry will become your testimony. What was meant to crush you will become your platform. Your photo didn't just reveal your face. It revealed your fight. It told heaven a story no one else could tell, and heaven wrote a new story in return. Not based on what you've lost, but on what you're about to gain. Not defined by your past, but fueled by your purpose. And this story will end with joy, with peace, with favor. Type 1212 if you walk by faith, even when the path is unclear. You don't have to try so hard to be enough. You already are. You don't have to perform for approval. You already have it. The love of God is not earned. It's given freely. And you, chosen one, are wrapped in that love, held in it, surrounded by it. You are being carried, not because you're weak, but because your strength has already been poured out. Let God carry you now. Let grace go ahead of you. There's a shift coming in how you see yourself. The lies you believed are losing power. The shame you carried is being lifted. The heaviness in your spirit is being replaced by clarity and peace. What once confused you will now confirm your calling. What once hurt you will now heal others. Your pain is not wasted. It's the soil where miracles grow. You are not late. You are not missing out. You are right where you need to be. Heaven's timing is precise, and the reason things took longer is because you were being shaped deeper. The deeper the shaping, the greater the destiny. You had to become someone strong enough to hold what's coming, and you are. You didn't come this far just to be broken. You didn't cry those tears for nothing. The shaking, the stretching, the stillness, it was all working together, even when it didn't feel like it. And now, heaven is preparing to show you why it all had to happen the way it did. Nothing was random, not the people who walked away, not the doors that closed, not the seasons of silence. Every part of your journey was chosen with purpose. Your photo told a story, but God wrote a bigger one behind the scenes. A story that started before you were born and stretches far beyond what you can see now. It's written in grace, it's sealed in love, and every page has a reason, even the painful chapters, especially those. Because those chapters birthed something in you that easy days never could. When the angels saw your photo, they saw fire in your eyes. Not anger, not bitterness, but fire. The kind that says, I've been through the worst, and I still believe. That fire didn't come from comfort. It came from warfare. It came from wounds. It came from nights when all you had was faith and your breath. That fire is what heaven uses. That fire is what shakes things loose. Type 555 if you still believe God has a plan, even when it hurts. People may not understand the depth of your calling. They may only see the outside, but heaven sees the cost. Every time you smiled while carrying weight in your heart, heaven recorded it. Every time you poured into others while you were empty, heaven multiplied it. That's why what's coming for you isn't just a blessing, it's a reward, a harvest with your name engraved on it. You've been faithful with little. You've been honest when you could have hidden. You've been compassionate when the world told you to be cold. And now you're stepping into the fulfillment of promises whispered to your heart long ago. The ones you almost forgot. The ones you thought were just dreams. They were never forgotten. They were being prepared. You weren't meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out. That's why it felt lonely sometimes. That's why people didn't always get you. That's why your journey didn't look like anyone else's. God was setting you apart, not punishing you, protecting you. There were places He didn't let you enter because they would have stolen the purity in your heart. There were connections He blocked because they would have dimmed your light. And now that light is rising, quietly but surely. It won't need to beg for attention. It will shine by itself. It will heal others just by being seen, because it carries truth. It carries power. It carries God's hand. Type 1919 if you believe your light will shine exactly when it's meant to. What if wealth was never about luck, but about a hidden brain signal that remained buried in classified files. This powerful frequency is now unlocking doors, drawing in new opportunities, and changing lives quickly. Thousands are already using it to attract prosperity in ways they never thought possible. Click the link in the description and comments now, and switch on the money-attracting brainwave today. There are blessings chasing you now, not because you earned them, but because you endured for them. Not because you shouted loudest, but because you stayed humble. Not because you forced your way forward, but because you let God lead. That kind of obedience moves mountains. The people who doubted you will witness your rising, not because you need to prove anything, but because God loves to use the unexpected. He lifts the overlooked. He crowns the quiet ones. And he does it in a way that no one else can take credit for. That's what makes it divine. You will not have to fight for this next breakthrough. You will rest and watch God do what only He can do. You will step into rooms your name entered before you did. You will walk through doors that only open by favor, not force. Because you are chosen, and what is chosen cannot be denied. There is healing flowing to every broken piece of your past. The places that once brought shame are becoming sources of strength. The moments that once made you cry are becoming anchors of grace. You are being renewed, rewritten, restored, not just for yourself, but for everyone connected to your story. They'll see your healing and believe theirs is possible too. This is not about what was lost. This is about what is being found in you. Peace, joy, boldness, love. These are the things God is returning to you now. Not because you asked for them, but because He knows you need them for where you're going. And where you're going, chosen one, is sacred ground. A place where pain has no voice, where doubt has no seat, where fear has no grip. A place prepared for you by the same hands that held you through the fire. A place full of grace, full of light, full of God's promise made real. Chosen one, listen carefully. There is a shift in the spiritual realm happening right now, and your name is at the center of it. What the angels saw wasn't just your photo, it was your heart, your past, your present, and the glory that's about to come over your life. Nothing about your journey has been ignored. Heaven has been watching, not from a distance, but with compassion, with understanding, and with divine intention. You weren't always sure why the road was so hard, why every step forward came with resistance. But now the answers are unfolding in quiet ways. God was building something inside you that couldn't be taken away. He was teaching your spirit to endure, to discern, to love without being loved back, and to wait when it felt like nothing would ever come. Type yes to affirm your faith that everything is aligning for your good. There are things you endured that only God and the angels know. Silent moments when you held your breath to keep from breaking down. Private tears no one comforted. Prayers whispered with trembling hope. And all of it matters. All of it has weight. Heaven is not unjust. Every hidden moment of endurance carries a reward. The angel didn't just see your photo and walk away. That angel stayed. That angel has been with you since. Because heaven assigns angels not just to protect, but to carry divine instructions. And now those instructions are being released. You are stepping into what was stored for a time such as this. Delayed? Yes. Denied? Never. You are the one the enemy tried to confuse, to distract, to wear down. But you held on. You kept choosing grace over bitterness. You kept choosing trust over fear. And that posture, your posture of surrender, became the very weapon heaven used to open locked doors. You didn't even know you were making a way when you were just surviving, but heaven knew. Type 777 if you trust Jesus with what's next. This next season is not about rebuilding the old, it's about something new. Not a repeat, not a copy, something completely fresh, completely holy. The reason you haven't seen the breakthrough yet is because what's coming hasn't existed before. It's not recycled favor, it's original glory. Handcrafted just for you. You are being positioned, not pushed. There is a gentleness in this shift. You'll know it's God because you won't feel forced. You'll feel peace. Peace that doesn't make sense. Peace in the middle of unfamiliar territory. Peace while stepping into the unknown. That peace is your confirmation. What you once feared will now make sense. The pieces that didn't seem to fit will form a masterpiece. That's the beauty of God's timing. He doesn't just restore, He redefines. He takes what was broken and makes it unbreakable. He takes what was wounded and turns it into a wellspring of healing for others. You have a mantle on your life that was never meant to be flashy. It was meant to be pure. That's why you were hidden. That's why others didn't see your value. God was guarding the oil. Because what you carry is sacred. What you carry is weighty. And it could not be exposed too early. But now it is time. The voice of heaven is calling you into boldness. Not the loud kind, but the kind that walks quietly into a room and shifts the atmosphere. The kind that doesn't need to announce itself, because God already did. The kind that touches people without trying, because it flows from presence, not performance. And you didn't ask for this. You didn't chase it. But God saw your heart and said, "This is the one who didn't quit, the one who praised in private, the one who kept going even when their soul was tired, the one who didn't fight to be seen, but now will be seen by heaven's design. There is rest coming to you, rest that doesn't just refresh your body, but your soul. Rest that will feel like a return to yourself, not who you were, but who you were always meant to be. The noise is quieting, the confusion is lifting, and clarity is rising. God is making things plain, little by little, and soon all will make sense. Within your mind is a small region linked to success and wealth, once concealed in restricted research and classified files. This newly revealed frequency is helping people trade financial stress for calm and stability, and God has led you to see this at the perfect moment. Click the link in the description and comments to activate this hidden brainwave now. This is not a season to fear. It's a season to flow, to trust the current of God's hand, to know that what's before you was chosen with the same care as what's behind you. He has never let go, not for 1 second. You are not walking into uncertainty. You are walking into purpose. It may be unfamiliar to you, but it's been familiar to heaven for a long time. The angels have gone ahead. The ground has been prepared. The way is already clear. You're not creating the path. You're stepping onto it. There is a new authority on your voice, a strength that comes not from knowing everything, but from trusting the one who does. You will speak, and peace will follow. You will move, and chains will break. You will pray, and heaven will respond, because your heart is aligned, and where there is alignment, there is acceleration. This isn't just another season for you. This is a holy turning point. The heavens have taken notice. Your faith, which refused to bow to fear, is now being honored. You thought you were walking alone, but you were being followed by mercy, by grace, by a love deeper than the oceans. Type Amen if you believe God has never taken His eyes off of you. There were moments you nearly gave up, moments that broke your voice, stole your sleep, and tested your soul, but you held on. And every time you whispered, "God, I trust you," you moved something in the spirit. You didn't see it then, but angels were being dispatched. The ground beneath your life was shifting. The chains that had held you for so long were loosening, piece by piece. Now, you're entering a place of release. Not because you earned it, but because God is good. Because He remembers. Because He sees what no one else does. This isn't about being perfect. This is about being faithful. About being real. About showing up even when you're tired, even when your hands are empty. And because you did, heaven is filling what you could not. Your name was written in places your feet haven't touched yet. God has already prepared what your heart has been waiting for. The doors aren't being built, they're already built. The invitation isn't being designed, it's already sent. Now, He is aligning your steps to meet the moment. Type 222 to claim your shift into divine alignment. People will say they didn't expect this, that they're surprised. But God isn't. The angel that saw your photo already knew. Knew that you would grow through pain. Knew that you would still worship through silence. Knew that you would still give when you had so little. And that kind of faith breaks through dimensions. You are not just rising for yourself, you are rising for generations. Your healing will bless your bloodline. Your breakthrough will speak life into others still in their waiting. Your testimony will wake up someone else's hope. That's why the enemy fought you so hard. He knew that if you made it through, you wouldn't come out quiet. You'd come out carrying power. And now you are. You're not going to need to chase people anymore. You're not going to need to explain your worth. What's coming will recognize what God placed inside you. You won't be tolerated. You'll be embraced. You won't be questioned. You'll be confirmed. Because when God says it's your time, no one can say otherwise. Your presence is becoming a signal, a signpost of restoration. People will be drawn to you, not because of your strength, but because of your softness. Your peace will make noise. Your smile will carry healing. And your life will be proof that God still lifts those who wait in faith. What seemed like delay was deep preparation. The kind of preparation that makes your foundation unshakable. The kind that doesn't just make room for blessings, but builds a life that can hold them. God wasn't being silent, He was building. And now He's unveiling, so let the fear fall off you. Let the guilt slide away. Let the shame that was never yours return to the darkness it came from. This is your moment to walk in fullness, to breathe in grace, to look around and see evidence of God's hand in everything, even the pain, even the silence, even the loss. It all worked. It all made way for glory. There is a stillness coming over you now. A holy stillness, not emptiness, not confusion, but peace. That kind of peace that settles deep inside, even if the outside still feels uncertain. You are being wrapped in the presence of God in a way you've never felt before. This isn't just comfort, it's a sign, a signal that the battle is ending and the blessing is beginning. The heaviness you've carried is being lifted. The weight that made it hard to breathe some days is breaking off your spirit. Because what was pressing on you was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to birth something eternal inside you. And now, that time has come. The birth is here. The labor is ending. The light is rising. Type 1010 if you agree that the wait was always part of God's design. You've been misunderstood. People thought you were just quiet, just kind, just soft-hearted. But God saw your strength. He saw what it took for you to stay gentle in a world that wanted to harden you. He saw what it cost you to stay loving while being overlooked. And He said, "This one is ready." Ready to lead, not from pride, but from purpose. ready to carry not just a blessing, but my glory. The angel that saw your photo was witnessing more than a face. They saw your anointing, a quiet fire, a steady river of worship, a longing for God that didn't vanish when prayers weren't answered fast. That kind of longing is rare, and heaven protects what is rare. So don't be surprised when things start falling off of you. Habits, people, thoughts, plans. What's not aligned with your future won't be allowed to walk into it. And it won't be your job to remove anything. God is already handling that. He's clearing the path before you even take the next step. Type 1111 if you trust that God is preparing your path with purpose. A 7-second brainwave method, once limited to elite circles and tucked away in classified files, is now accessible to the public, and many refer to it as the 30-second miracle. Researchers say it stimulates a dormant brain center tied to prosperity and blessings. Click the link in the comments below before it's removed again from the internet. You're about to see changes you didn't force, doors you didn't knock on, opportunities that call your name without explanation. That's not luck, that's favor. That's the result of heaven seeing what no one else did. That's God returning to you what the years tried to steal. And you don't owe anyone a reason. You don't owe anyone an explanation for what's about to unfold in your life. You've cried in silence long enough. Now God is rewarding you in ways that speak louder than words. The light will explain what your lips no longer need to. You're going to glow, not with arrogance, but with healing, with restoration, with strength that speaks for itself. The same heart that was broken is being made whole again, and it will shine with such clarity that people will stop and look and not even know why they feel peace around you. But they will, because what's flowing from you now isn't pain, it's promise. The silence you've lived through was not a void, it was sacred space, a place where God could speak to you clearly, away from the noise, a place where you were being reintroduced to yourself. You may have forgotten who you are, but God didn't. And now, He's reawakening the truth within you. You are not what the pain tried to make you. You are not what rejection called you. You are not the failure you feared. You are chosen. You are sealed. You are seen. And no storm can erase that. So walk slowly now, not with fear, but with reverence, not rushing, but trusting. The next steps you take carry a different weight. They are led, they are holy, they are covered. You've crossed into something sacred now. The atmosphere around you is different. It may look the same on the outside, but in the spirit, everything has changed. You are walking in favor that was earned not by deeds, but by endurance. You are standing on ground, softened by your tears and watered by your worship. God has not only seen your journey, He has honored it. This new place you're in is not a reward for performance. It's a response to your perseverance, your quiet obedience, your refusal to turn bitter, your constant return to God's presence even when nothing made sense. Those were seeds. And now, the harvest is beginning to show, slowly, sweetly, surely. Type yes if you believe the harvest is already growing, even if you can't see it all yet. Don't let the quietness fool you. Miracles are unfolding, not loudly, but deeply, the kind that lasts, the kind that doesn't fade after a few good days, the kind that transforms not only your situation, but your soul. That's what this season is about. Deep, lasting, holy transformation. The kind that marks you forever. And you deserve it. Not because of who the world says you are, but because of who God knows you to be. The you who kept loving when love wasn't returned. The you who kept building when no one noticed. The you who kept trusting, even when your heart was full of questions. God knows that version of you, and that's the version He's blessing.